Mr. Perfect, I am so happy to see that you now have the Intercontinental title. That's right. You think I'm kind of crazy? Well, you know, I'm not quite all there sometimes, but that's going to give me the most pleasure in the world to take you down, to put you on the mat, asleep, brother, and take your hair right off your head, take the belt from around your waist. This is what I've been working all my life for, Perfect. You're not gonna stop me, man, because you know I can beat you, and everybody else knows I can beat you too. And it could be double header night. It could be you and the Weasel laying right in the middle of the ring, and me doing a dance with the Clippers, baby. Ha 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 ha!
The PWR presents What If? What if John Cena turned heel? What if China became the first woman world heavyweight champion? What if Owen Hart never passed away? What if Magnum TA never got into a car crash? What if Hulk Hogan stayed with the AWA? What if Shawn Michaels signed with WCW? What if WCW won the Monday Night Wars? What if Vince McMahon's WrestleMania failed? What if...
What is going on there, Reflectionites? What is going on there to the Vitoites? What's going on to the Harmonites and the solitary confinement PWCX? I haven't laughed like this in like a year. I haven't laughed like this since 2024. Reflectionites, I haven't had that evil laugh for y'all. It's been a while since we've done a what if. It's been a while since we changed the course of wrestling history for the better, for the worse. I don't know. It's up to your subjectiveness. It's up to y'all saying, yes, Professor, y'all made money for Vince McMahon. Yes, Professor and PW, y'all made money. Y'all made wrestling even better the way you did these what ifs. But anyway, before we get into this very special and very poignant What If edition on the PWR podcast at the High Mean Media Group at PowerBeam.com. I must introduce myself because I'm not that evil, but you know what? I am so effervescent. I am so studious. But most importantly, I am the glorious one. The only objective man in this IWC, YWC, PWC punditry. The only objective man in this political hemisphere. The only objective man in this Twitterverse. And the greatest of all time. I'm on the echelons of Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Kobe Bryant, and there is moi, the Professor Chabebe Cruz. I'm not here alone, no. I'm here with my brother from another mother, the liberal conservative. If I'm Michael Jordan, he's Scottie Pippen. If I'm Kobe Bryant, then he is Paul Gasol. If I'm LeBron James, then he is, well, I don't know if he wants to be Dwayne Wade or Chris Bosh, but that's up to him. He is your friend of mine and the undisputed, undeniable, universal heavyweight champion of the world. Tommy Wonder, how you doing, my friend?
Sick. The fuck. But I'm here.
The rain is coming down on you.
Yeah. I'm dying. Got a blanket. Got some water. I got my miracle cure for headaches and sore aches. Skittles. I got a cough drop in case the shit gets out of control. And I'm going back to bed.
You are the soldier, TW. That is for damn sure.
You recognize my shirt?
The Judgment Day, yes. Yeah. Is that the one with Edge, or that's the one after Edge?
Good one.
Oh, the new one? Oh, okay.
Oh, the good one.
The good one.
Four.
Okay. I'm just saying, you know.
Finn, Rhea, Priest, and Dom.
I'm just saying, you know. Some people say that, you know, the Edge Judgment Day was better than this Judgment Day, or whatever the case may be. I'm just saying that's what they say.
Wasn't even that long.
See, this is what happens, Reflectionites. You know, the sickness. This man goes out butt naked in his boxes in Detroit when it's minus 10 degrees Celsius. He wants to celebrate with Jared Goff. He wants to celebrate with, Sonic and Knuckles, but they lost. So I guess he did this as a pity party. I don't know what happened. It just, whatever happened, he was in his boxes. I don't know why.
I might not watch the Super Bowl.
Why not?
Because
it's
who
history.
the hell wants to see the Chiefs versus the Phillies or Phillies? The EGLESES again. I wanted to see Buffalo. I lost $40 in those two motherfucking games yesterday. Commanders. You know how hard it was to watch Commanders get their asses whooped and know that my team lost to that team?
Well, it was due. It was due, Reflectionites. The jitters happened. It didn't happen to Jaden. It just happened to everybody else. So, he did what he had to do. But it is what it is.
Fucking defense on the first fucking play of the game lets a 60-yard touchdown run. That right there, 2 years ago, I was cheering for the Chiefs. Right?
Right.
Last year, Niners was cheering for the Niners. This year, I will be cheering for the Eagles for one reason and one reason only. So Saquon can win it and tell the Giants to suck it, because they will win it because of him.
And that's part of the drama. That's part of the
guy
fear.
was on my fantasy team when he was supposed to be the fucking man and got fucking hurt in week 1 and then fucking never ever fucking got healthy. He kept coming back too early, getting hurt. So he's the guy on my will not draft list. I think he broke off of it now. He's no longer on the list with Fraud Taylor.
You know what, Reflectionites? TW is going to watch the Super Bowl. He's going to be part of the 100 million that's going to watch it. Tony Khan's going to watch it, even though he wants 100 million to watch AEW Dynamite. That's what he wants. But anyway, let's get into...
1,000 to watch this.
Let's not start that. We're not changing that wrestling history just yet. That what if hasn't happened. But anyway, let's get into this what if.
What if AEW drew?
That's not. Oh my God! That's gonna be a hard show. I'm gonna need some reinforcements on that one. You and I just cannot get them to draw. But anyway, let's get into this special what if edition and TW. This one again for the first what if of 2025. It's kind of a doozy because, when you're watching the YouTubes, when you're watching the kayfabe commentaries, and you get certain golden nuggets, if you will. This was something I did not even know, but yet it does make sense. So for this edition reflection, let me give you the backdrop, TW, because, I was watching some kayfabe commentaries, and there was, how YouTube does those little 5 to 10 minute clips. So, you don't have to watch an hour or 2 hours. Yeah. So one of those clips involved Brutus, the Barber Beefcake, a.k.a. Ed Leslie, and all that stuff, Reflectionites. And I skipped over the parts about him and Hulk Hogan having their falling outs. I skipped all that other shit, TW. But there was one poignant moment of this clip, Reflectionites, and this was the antithesis, if you will, for this what if edition, TW. During this kayfabe commentaries, Brutus the Barber Beefcake told me some very important details, TW. He was, quote unquote, promised a run with the WWE Intercontinental title, not once, but twice. Once in 1988 and the other in 1990. Now, for Reflectionite purposes, the reason why these Intercontinental title runs never came to fruition, I'll give you the backdrop. TW, I know you're excited, I know, but you're yawning. But it's okay. It's okay. I get you into this. I'm going to get you excited. But TW, the 1988 plan for him to be the Intercontinental title was derailed by one man and one man only, the Ultimate Warrior, at SummerSlam 1988. So Vince McMahon did the 11th hour changing of the booking, and he storylined Brutus the Barber Beefcake being injured by Outlaw Ron Bass. I'm just giving you the hyperboles and the logistics there. So with the spur and all that stuff, he cut himself and all that stuff. It was gory, it was bloody, and all that stuff. So that derailed that first supposed IC run, and we can understand why. Reflectionites. It's not about do I agree or disagree, but I'm just giving you the logistics. And TW, the second one he was supposed to win it in SummerSlam 1990 against Mr. Perfect. And that was derailed not by booking, but by himself, because that was the year where he had that tragic parasailing accident where his face blew up and he needed some plastic surgery and all that stuff. So he had to derail and give it to the Texas Tornado, Kerry Von Erich, in SummerSlam 1990. It was very spur of the moment booking there too. So it is what it is on that. So before we even try to book it, because what we're going to do, Reflectionites, is we're going to book it in two different scenarios. We're going to book the 1988 run because we kind of remember that 88 to 89 run in certain instances and certain people during that time. And we're going to book it in the 1990 run. We're going to try to do it two different ways, TW. Are you up to that challenge?
Yeah.
But before
I
we
gotta
even...
add something, though. I got to add something to it.
You got to add a what?
You're over here blaming the Warrior for that 1988. There was something that happened first.
I didn't blame the Warrior. I just said it derailed.
One man is to blame. You said one man is to blame.
It is, but that is a reason. But I agree with it.
WrestleMania or main event, one show, Honky Tonk Man was supposed to lose the Beefcake, and he fucking rolled out of the ring and left and got counted out on purpose so he wouldn't lose the belt. And when they asked him, "What the fuck are you doing?" He's like, long-term booking. They're gonna like it more when I lose to him down the road. And then he never fucking lost it to him.
Well, again, that's neither here nor there. But again,
that's the moment. I honestly, I don't know. I think I was young enough that the Barber gimmick didn't kill him for me. But I was a Beefcake fan when he was a heel. And when he turned babyface, I was happy that he was a babyface, not knowing that's what was happening. I'm like, oh, cool, he's beating up the people I don't like, right? And but I really, really liked him. And then when he lost to the Honky Tonk, or beat Honky Tonk Man by count out, I think that's the moment when I stopped liking him as much as I did. I think the Honky Tonk Man not only killed that Intercontinental title promise, but it killed his momentum with fans to where from that point on, I think he never recovered.
Again, that's two scenarios right there. But we have to ask that question because, again, Beefcake had the momentum for SummerSlam 88 because, like you said, in WrestleMania 4 in 1988, Reflectionites, he won the match against Honky Tonk Man, but he won it by countout. So he never got the title. But they were booked. I don't know if it was long-term booking, but that was the plan all along for SummerSlam 88 to come to fruition. And then the Ultimate Warrior, he is what he is, TW. I'm not saying that did Vince McMahon make a mistake. I'm saying you and I understand Ultimate Warrior had that sizzle, had that it factor, had the face paint. He had the kids right behind him. He was over like Rover. But
I don't think Beefcake was anymore.
Because of that one match?
No, I think when he lost, when he didn't win. Remember, Luger, same thing happened to Luger. When he beat Yokozuna by countout, he was never the same again, ever.
Okay, well, now let's get into the second question because there is that second scenario that he was supposed to get the title in 1990 by SummerSlam. And it got derailed by his own fruition because he did the parasailing accident. But the over question, like you're saying, is a little bit different because that hyperbole, TW, let's be frank here, because in 89, he was running with Hogan. He was main eventing SummerSlam with Hogan. He was main eventing that no holds barred match with Hogan. He was, in the Royal Rumble in 1990. He had a high profile match against Mr. Perfect at WrestleMania 6 in Toronto Skydome, and he won. So all that momentum was there, whether he's over. So with that instance right there, TW, could you believe him winning it in SummerSlam 90 against Mr. Perfect? Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, and so you're talking also, that's back when I didn't watch every pay-per-view, so I really don't remember all that. I just remember, for me personally...
What do you mean not there was only 4 pay-per-views that year.
It was fucking 8 from 88
no, it wasn't.
to 90.
In 1990, there was 4 pay-per-views.
Right, but I'm telling you, from the time he didn't win it from Honky Tonk Man, and the Warrior did, like up until you recently, I don't think it was last week, but it was recently we were doing a show where you told me that when I thought the Warrior won the belt after the accident. Like, I thought the Warrior replaced him at that. I forgot all about that Ron Bass shit until you just said it just now, and then I pictured Ron Bass carving him up with that spur. I remember that because I remember all the TV. I didn't miss any TV, right?
Okay.
I just didn't see any pay-per-views or whatever. But I think for me personally, when he didn't win the belt from Honky Tonk Man at, you know what? You say that was the plan all along, was to win at SummerSlam, but I'm telling you, I read somewhere that Honky Tonk Man was supposed to lose it to Beefcake.
This was
he got counted out on purpose to not lose it.
You know why we're doing this show? Because Beefcake said this. That's all I'm going with. But Beefcake is saying all this. I understand that there's your side, there's my side, and there's the truth. I'm going by his side, and he said this verbatim. I was supposed to get that belt. Circumstances, and we know that Vince McMahon changes his mind. So that's flashes right there. We know that Vince McMahon.
You want to know my opinion on that?
What's that?
The fact that he is 30 years later still bitching that he wasn't Intercontinental Champion tells me Vince McMahon made the right decision. Because most of the guys know there's guys that don't need the belt, right? But to his credit, to his defense, that's right smack dab in the middle of when, if you were Intercontinental Champion, that you were on your way to becoming world champion. And, you know, or at least you were considered the fucking workhorse of the company. That was an accolade. It wasn't just a prop, right? So I can see that. But it sounds to me like I can picture him all bloated, eating grits on the porch, talking to Ricky Morton style, talking about what went wrong, right? But again, just like Razor Ramon, just like Kerry Von Erich, sometimes guys get in their own way. And Beefcake is another guy who never got better. He regressed. He's a Luger. Came out with all this potential and then got worse.
You mean the Booty Man didn't make him better? Zodiac didn't make him better?
Every time he showed up on Nitro with a new gimmick, I was like, what the fuck? The one that worked was the Disciple. That was the good one.
Again, neither here nor there, but we can't book it in Nitro days. We can't bring the Intercontinental title to Nitro as the Disciple. So with that being said, TW, let's try the first scenario in 1988, which is going to be a kind of a tricky one because there's many different ways we could go with this. So TW, I'm going to ask you this because I think we could go with the hyperbole here. So everything starts after Beefcake wins Mania 4 countout with the countout, right? So you want to continue the progression of that feud, if you will, Reflectionites, maybe Saturday night's main event to get to SummerSlam 1988 TW at Madison Square Garden. So with that being said, TW, my question here, maybe this is my kind of thinking, because now you got the Survivor Series. Now you got the Royal Rumble. So you can maybe extend it a little bit where the celebration could actually, I'm thinking about the old Vern Gagne rule, because if you're gonna buy a ticket to hopefully see Beefcake win the title, but yet he doesn't come to fruition, the story isn't finished, you still will pay money to see it. That's I'm thinking about the chase. It's always about the chase.
That's also NWA. You want to see the bad guy get beat.
Well, but remember, like you always said, Vince McMahon wants the heroes to win at somehow, some way, at some point. So he wants to finish the story. But again, neither here nor there. So TW, after WrestleMania 4, which way of the chase do we go with that? So I'm just thinking this is my first, let's just to say plan A of how to get Beefcake that IC title. Of course, you got the Hart family. Of course, Beefcake has got to beat all the people in the Hart family. You got to beat Bret Hart. You got to beat Jim the Animal Neidhart. You got to beat Dangerous Danny Davis to get back to Honky Tonk Man. And of course, let's not forget, we can use Outlaw Ron Bass and the situation with the spur and all that and all that stuff because Jimmy Hart paid him. It's like he put a bounty on Brutus Beefcake's head, and Outlaw Ron Bass collected it, got him out for a couple of weeks, and then we can maybe extend it to maybe Royal Rumble 89, where Beefcake can become the new Intercontinental Champion. What say you about that scenario, or do you have a better way?
I like it, but I like that Ron Bass claimed it and then he lost to the Warrior. Then you could throw the Ron Bass, you can sick him after the Warrior too, because he succeeded once, and now you can have Ron Bass going out there. So you're saying at SummerSlam he would win again, but not win the belt?
No, I'm just saying like we can. Like I said, the chase is dead. Like you say, the chase is dead. So with that being said, my thought process is to use, I guess it's the NWA booking. You gotta go over the mountaintop. You gotta go over the hump of the Hart Foundation. You gotta go over the hump of Dangerous Danny Davis. All the Hart family members, and again, like I said, you put a bounty on Brutus Beefcake's head, and Outlaw Ron Bass collects it, Bad News Brown collects it, or maybe even Dino Bravo collects it. Whatever the case may be, I'm just giving some.
Fucking sticking all the dead guys on them, man. Fucking get them all out there.
Why the hell are you talking about dead people? I'm just talking about who's
the morgue.
Oh my God. Well, what say you, TW? How would you book it?
I like that, and here's what I like, because this never fucking happens. You have them beat Danny Davis easy, right? Like easy. You have him squeak by Neidhart. Just have Neidhart whoop his ass the next week, right? Whoop his ass, and then he fucking wins with a schoolboy or a roll up, right? Okay. Then you have him right when he's about to beat Bret Hart. Ron Bass comes out, fucking gets him, right? Okay. No, he can't get him because. Oh no, you can do that. You can have him beat Bret Hart the same way.
You're not. Well, technically, you're not doing this in a matter of maybe 3 weeks straight. I mean, you don't want to do that. You don't want to waste it, right? You want to milk it a little bit.
I know. But I'm saying whenever you have it, he's got to beat Danny Davis with ease.
Okay.
Then you got to have Neidhart just whooping his ass and being cocky and him winning out of nowhere. And my third scenario is going to
wait. I'm sorry. Reflectionites. I'm correct. I'm corrected, TW. In 1988, remember the Hart Foundation became good guys. So they weren't part of it. So I think it was the Dream Team or something like that. I think it was Dino Bravo and Greg Valentine. So I'm sorry.
The fucking Dream Team is fucking Beefcake and Valentine, motherfucker.
Remember, but Jimmy Hart got the contracts. So by that time, it was Dino Bravo and Greg Valentine. They went back to him in some way. I'm just doing.
Well, then that's not good. My scenario, I would stick with the Hart Foundation. You're fucking taking the Warriors IC title run away. I'm taking away Brett's face turn. But then you have Brett beat him. Okay. You have it look like, you failed, motherfucker. Blah,
wait. We can fix that because like this, TW, that gets the Hart Foundation to be good guys because they can't beat Brutus Beefcake, and maybe they join him, and then they join his battle against the Hart family and all that stuff.
Right there.
There you go. We fixed it, Reflectionites. We fixed
versus Honky Tonk, Bravo, and Valentine.
Now here's another scenario for the Chase, TW, and follow me here because it just popped in my head. Because again, we can utilize something so simplistic because again, what Beefcake's character is with the cutters, with the scissors, with the shaver, TW. He cuts people's hairs after he applies the sleeper. So one of the best ways to get heat is Brutus Beefcake has a long lock of hair. He's got the Billy Ray Cyrus mullet. He's got the party in the back and all that shit. So what say TW? Maybe to get all that heat on Honky Tonk Man, get all that heat on Jimmy Hart. Maybe a Saturday night, maybe even SummerSlam where maybe Beefcake comes up short again. Honky Tonk gets those clippers and cuts the mullet. What say you, TW? Do you want to do that to extend the chase?
Well, here's what I was saying. You lost by count out at WrestleMania. You build it up where he comes up short against beating all three of them. So you come up with some other plan where he's got to beat them. And right when he's about to do it, maybe even you wrestle all three guys again, right? And you beat Danny Davis easy, you beat Neidhart, and then you beat Brett. So as you're about to beat him, Ron Bass comes out and carves his head up. So this keeps him off TV for a little bit. Then he comes out at SummerSlam. Because usually when somebody like that does that, now you're in a feud with that guy. So you can't. You got to, you know what I mean? You got to make it where it was for Honky Tonk Man or whatever.
Right.
So at SummerSlam, maybe, there you go. Maybe Honky Tonk Man hits him with the scissors and then cuts his hair and gets disqualified. So he's won by a count out. He's won by disqualification. So finally you build up a Survivor Series, and you have the cage match where he can't run and he can't cheat. That's what I would do. But it can't go past Survivor Series. Going to the Royal Rumble, that's where he loses the Warrior in 10 seconds.
You always want to bring it back to the other things. Like you always say, T, some people don't need the belt. Maybe the Warrior doesn't need the belt. Beefcake needs the belt to get to the upper echelon because, like you say, this is the workhorse title. So, and this is a litmus test for Beefcake maybe to get to the next level. to get to the main event level. Can he sell out Madison Square Garden on his own without Hulk Hogan? Can he sell out the Boston Garden without Hulk Hogan? Can he sell out the Forum? If you put a rocket ship on him, the Intercontinental title is the rocket ship. What say you, TW, about that scenario?
You'd find out soon, but you know what they could have done? You could still have Warrior win the belt, right? And then when Beefcake comes back, I can't remember. Did Warrior lose to Rude at WrestleMania in '89?
WrestleMania 5, yes.
He lost the title to him there, right?
And regained it at SummerSlam '89.
Right. So what you could have done is Warrior could have won that title still, and then Beefcake heals up, goes after Ron Bass for doing that, and then once Rude beats Warrior for the belt, you could have Beefcake and eventually beat Rude to become the Intercontinental Champion. And I think it would make him look better because I think everybody would argue that Rick Rude was better than Honky Tonk Man, right? So, especially if he beat him clean.
Right.
And then you could have Rude screw him over to win the belt back, and the Warrior beat Rude.
We're not talking about Warrior, man. We're talking about Beefcake.
You could have squeezed Beefcake in there.
No. The rule here is TW. You cannot be favoritism to Warrior. We gotta give Beefcake
I'm telling
money.
you what they could have done when they had the chance. He could have won it from Rude instead of the Warrior winning it back. Especially, I mean, obviously it's part of folklore. First time the Intercontinental Champion ever faced the World Champion and had both belts.
Because the reason I say let's get the Warrior out of our picture, because Warrior has his own thing. Because if we do Beefcake beating Honky Tonk Man, whether it's Survivor Series '88 or Royal Rumble '89 after the chase, and again, I forgot, it wouldn't be the Hart Foundation that he kind of goes over that mountain. It would have been the Fabulous Russo Brothers, because I remember off the top of my head. So that's a great substitute. Jacques and Raymond, you can do singles matches with that too. That's a great win. That's a great building block for, getting all those wins to get to the Honky Tonk Man. So that's flagship. We already agree on that shit on the chase. So the reason I say let's forget about the Warriors, because again, with the Warrior, you remember those feuds. You remember, I don't want to go into the trappings of not the trappings, but again, it's the building blocks to get Beefcake to the next level to see if he can do it. Because Rick Rude is a good building block. Andre the Giant is a great building block because the Warrior did that himself in 1989 and all that stuff. So what's the ATW? Because it writes itself, because once you win the Intercontinental title, not only do you have the rematch with Honky Tonk Man already built in for maybe a Saturday night's main event or a main event in '89, you already, for WrestleMania, you're building to Rick Rude, you're building to Andre the Giant, you're building to Haku, you're building to the Barbarian, the Warlord, and all that stuff. So what's the ATW? Because it's endless possibilities for him to be the workhorse Intercontinental Champion with all those people on that roster. And don't say they're dead. Please don't say they're dead.
I think most of them. Anyway, that's the problem. There's the problem, right?
Okay.
The more we talk about this, the more I realize why he didn't. All those guys that you named, with the exception of Rude, but the Bravos, the Hakus, the Giant, I don't know if Yokozuna wasn't around yet, but all those guys are big men that matched up well with Warrior, because Warrior was just a clubber and a puncher and a body slammer, right? Beefcake's supposed to be this technician, so Beefcake wrestling those guys would probably put you to sleep. He doesn't have that. I mean, he puts people in sleeper hold, but he doesn't have that same it that the Warrior had to fight big guys.
Hold on. I have to disagree here, because let's just say if Beefcake had the belt in '89, like he's building his,
right. You
can do Rude. It's not going to be a snooze fest.
Yep.
You could also do Macho Man Randy Savage. He was the Macho King, which he had a feud in '89 with.
Yep.
And you could do Zeus, which you helping
Piper, Rude, Honky Tonk, Macho Man, and Perfect. Great. Those would be great Intercontinental title matches for him. Him versus Andre would be horrendous. Him versus one-man gang, Hakeem.
Everybody, Andre was so good for business. He gave the rub to everybody because he knew that was the best thing.
But what's Beefcake's moveset that is going to work well? Warrior got the fucking shoulder tackle, clothesline, and eventually body slam him. It worked. What the fuck is Beefcake going to do to Andre the Giant?
You can drop kick. You can drop kick the knees. You can drop kick the knees.
He could do a high knee. That was his finisher, the running high knee, right?
There you go. You can do that
on the old video game. Dun, 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 and he fucking jump up and hit the knee.
We don't wait. Let's be fair here. We got to be fair. You don't know that. Remember, like you said, you was a fan of Beefcake in 1985 when he was that. You was a huge fan. But let's be. But remember this: in 1985, when he was managed by Luscious Johnny V, how was he presented? Huh?
He's dead.
Jesus Christ! Why do you go there?
Yeah, hit by a car, man. Jogging.
Reflectionites. I tried. He just said dead, and then I'm dead in my brain. I got a brain fart.
Luscious Johnny V, 85. He's a bad guy.
Thank you for giving me all that motivation. Now, okay, he was managed by Luscious Johnny V in 1985, and he's dead. But how was he presented in 1985? He was a powerhouse.
Yes.
He did the backbreakers. He did the press slams. So how did wait? But you can't say in 1989 that let's say if he's the Intercontinental Champion and he has let's say a 1 month program with Andre the Giant, that he can't go back to that 1985 phase where he could slam him. Andre will allow people to slam him if you pay your dues and all that stuff. If you show respect to boss, if you show respect to the boss, he will lead you in doing that slam. I'm not saying he's gonna press him. But Beefcake did that shit in 1985. His move was the backbreaker, if I'm not mistaken. So let's say ETW, if Andre allows him to slam him, just like he allowed Warrior to slam him, he allowed Hogan to slam him. If he allows you to slam him, he's over like Rover. Let's say it's not unfathomable. It's not unfathomable. It's possible. That's all I'm saying.
I'm just saying Beefcake's moveset, Beefcake's persona back then. He was a different guy as the Barber. He was almost.
I'm not denying that. I'm just saying that he
was almost Junkyard Doggish, like Coco Beware, Junkyard Dog, Beefcake. They were the fucking cartoons, right? Like they were jolly and fun. The kids love them. The Bushwhackers. Whereas the Warrior was serious. Tornado was serious. Fucking Honky Tonk Man. He was an asshole, but he was serious. Like he fucked you up with his guitar. Jake the Snake was serious. You have all these serious guys, and then until Rhythm and Blues, then Honky Tonk Man's a fucking moron with Greg Valentine. But it's just I agree with you. But if I'm having him win the belt from Honky Tonk Man, I'm having him win it Survivor Series, and then his defenses for me, if I'm trying to make him live in the lore of IC champions past, I'm booking him against Perfect, Macho, Honky Tonk Man, and Rude. I'm having him wrestle guys that he could go out. And even the neckbeard AEW fan would say that's a good match. I don't think people are if he fought, and I love Haku, but Haku and him, people aren't going to remember it. Him and Andre, people aren't going to remember it. Hercules, they're just, it wouldn't be memorable.
No, I totally agree. But you have to remember the circumstances for television purposes. A Beefcake Haku match, you know where that happens? On Superstars. It happens on Wrestling Challenge. So you can have,
but you said programs. I'm talking about like feuds.
Well, I get you. But we know that the A feuds is Perfect, Honky Tonk rematch, Rick Rude, and Macho Man. He's already set for life in 1989. Now let's be real, Reflectionites, because again, I try to merge with what the reality of what we saw into what if a little bit, because we have to change it. We're now TW technically taking millions of dollars away from Vince McMahon. You know why? Because if he continues on this trajectory, we're never going to get the Ultimate Challenge in 1990. We're never going to get, the WrestleMania.
Beefcake versus Hogan, brother versus brother.
You think we would get there?
If he fucking succeeded.
Go ahead, TW. Convince the Reflectionites that can make money. Because I think that's a negative jackpot.
You're telling me.
Do we want to go that?
Warrior wins it. Oh, no. He would have to do it from 88. 90, it was already over. So so he would have to defend it. And then, he's got all that momentum. He's beating Rude. He's beating Macho. He's beating Perfect. He's beating Hunter.
He could lose. Technically, he could lose to Rude or Macho and then regain the belt.
No, because you got to have the same scenario. You got to have him win the Royal Rumble so it doesn't look like I came for you, Hogan. I won it. It's just fate. It's me versus you. Hogan can look mad.
Oh, wait. Hold on. You actually put a quandary right there. You change the dynamic that Hogan doesn't win the Royal Rumble in 1990. You want Beefcake to win it to kind of like go into that direction? Is that what you're saying?
Hogan Warrior in 90, you have Beefcake Hogan.
Then the only way that would work for me would be Beefcake winning the Rumble and eliminating Hulk Hogan, and then just seeing that, that face to face.
It wasn't for number one contender back then?
No.
Oh, so Warrior,
that's why I said, because that's why I said that dynamic is tricky, because again, you and I, we went crazy for that eye to eye between Warrior and Hogan. It was inevitable.
Right.
I'm being honest, TW. I don't think that we would go crazy for an eye to eye between Beefcake and Hogan. The only way that scenario for WrestleMania 6 for Beefcake and Hogan for the title, I don't know if you want to do a title for title Reflectionites. So again, I'm just going with this. Beefcake has got to eliminate Hogan in 1990 to win the Rumble, so this way you can amp it up. And then
I was thinking he won the Royal Rumble, became the number one contender. I didn't realize it wasn't that. It was. I forgot Hogan was in the fucking Royal Rumble. So yeah. So you everything you did with Warrior in that Rumble, you do with Hogan and Beefcake. And at this point, everyone knows they're buddies. They already did the Zeus thing in '89 or whatever. This is '90, right? Yeah,
this would be 90. We're extending it a little bit after, maybe, like I said, if you want Beefcake not to be the IC champion, he could lose the title, but then he
won it at SummerSlam.
So you want the title for title again?
Yes, he won. Okay. He wins it from Honky Tonk finally. And then spends the next year defending it. But the next SummerSlam, he's in the tag match. Hogan and Beefcake versus Zeus and, was it DiBiase?
Macho Man.
And then Survivor Series, he teams with Hogan as a team. You that was the Ultimate Survivor year, wasn't it?
No, that was 90. Beefcake and Hogan weren't even tag team. Wasn't a Survivor Series tag team. Beefcake did his own thing.
Well, you have them as a Survivor Series tag team. Then you have them both in the Rumble, and you have them do everything that the Warrior did, and you give them with the dick measuring contest, like fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you, and then they wrestle at WrestleMania 6.
I'm just being pragmatic.
I don't think Beefcake wins.
No, I'm just being pragmatic because again, I'm just acknowledging the difficulty there, because I'm just saying the truth. I think we're throwing millions of dollars out the window because Vince McMahon wants to sell out the Sky Dome, and he has a better main event with Warrior and Hogan. I'm acknowledging that. But with Beefcake there, does that give you 67,000 in the Sky Dome? I don't know if you can do that.
Book it right, like they're childhood buddies, and you tell the story like you did with Shawn Michaels and Brett, the fucking boy with a dream. You can do that. You can even blur the lines and talk about how all the shit we know now that we didn't know then, that look back in time, these guys were in the AWA together, they were in Memphis together, they were in Florida together, and everyone's gonna be like, holy shit, these guys have been friends for that long. So Hogan versus Warrior was just allegiances, like the Warrior fans who also were Hulkamaniacs and the Hulkamaniacs who also were Warrior fans had to pick a side, right? In this case, you could almost have Beefcake be a heel, right? And you can do something that was never done.
Ooh, wait, hold on. You can't just say some gold there without me, acknowledging it and processing it. So where do you want Beefcake to become the heel? Because again, the perfect way for him to make
the more aggressive face. He doesn't.
Okay, but the more aggressive.
He could be a heel by sneaky throwing Hogan out, like
right. It would be a little heelish to throw him out from behind and winning his back turn.
But you could also make it where Hogan and somebody else were both almost, and you could have Beefcake, and his excuse could be, I didn't even see you. I saw Earthquake. I grabbed Earthquake's leg, and you guys both went. You know what I mean? You could have it where it was in doubt whether he knew he was throwing Hogan or not, and you can make it look like Hogan's like, all right, I believe you. And then, just like I said, I don't think Beefcake wins, but I think what you can do, and this would help build the Toronto Sky Dome, is you also point out that Hogan has never been the Intercontinental Champion. And then he does. So it's either Beefcake becomes world champion or Hogan becomes IC champion. But one of those things is going to happen.
Okay. Again, I'm being pragmatic, and I'm just being honest here, Reflectionites. Again, we're trying to make the money here, and this is a very difficult situation. TW, we have to be honest with the Reflectionites here. That you and I, it sounds good on paper, it sounds good in theory, but we just don't know if 67,000 is going to come for Hogan and Beefcake title for title. Because again, here's another, let's say, negative backdrop here. Because again, the Barber character, which you already said it's not your cup of tea because you liked him as in 1985 as the powerhouse bruiser and all that stuff.
He was like the hitman of the team, not hitman,
right? But
the enforcer of the team.
But if we go and take and kind of like do the old formula, again, you and I are getting a little bit tired of Hulkamania, but again, Vince McMahon is being pragmatic himself. It's still drawing me whatever money is left over. It's still making me millions of dollars. So you're actually taking a risk because you can't elevate Beefcake to the next level because of that. Do you agree or disagree or have a different take? Because then,
elevate why?
Because
if Hogan
wins, because it's still a money train, and then Beefcake you got to elevate because the Warrior had to win against Hogan in WrestleMania 6 to elevate himself to the next level. So you're risking Beefcake going down because he just another notch on Hogan's belt on the Hulkamania train. What say you to that? Because that's the problem
that's what I think would happen. I think God bless him, but I think he would be exposed. I don't like all the shit people talk about the Warrior is all hindsight bullshit. When that guy wrestled, people fucking stood up and watched. And the same people that will shit on the Warrior's skill set were fucking Goldberg marks with their shirts that fucking said who's next, right? And I will say the Warrior was a better wrestler than fucking Bill Goldberg, but he didn't have to be a better wrestler than anybody. The Warrior just had it. Goldberg had it. I don't think Beefcake had it. And so I think against Hogan, I think the crowd would have sided with Hogan. I think if Beefcake would have won, it would have been Macho Hogan all over again. So Hogan just got to win clean, and then Beefcake can go back to being his little understudy.
Yeah, again, we're just being truthful here, Reflectionites. But I'm trying to make money too, TW. You have to understand that. So let's put a bow on this because this is, again, we're doing 88 to 90 here because this is it's the 88 thing. So I think you and I have different thought processes here. I'm going with the Chase. I want him to, let's say, celebrate the win at Royal Rumble 89. You're saying celebrate the Intercontinental win in Survivor Series 88. That's where you're going with that.
Yes.
Okay. So for me,
set up 90.
So technically, you and I are probably in agreement that his 89 card is stacked with defenses. He can do the rematch with Honky Tonk Man first. He could do a program with Rick Rude. He could do the program with Macho Man, and then for hyperbole's sake, he could do something with Andre the Giant, if the case may be, just to get that extra oomph, if you will. Or do you have a different? Or you said perfect. I say it's Andre. What say you? What's your 1989 card for him, if you will?
If I'm doing 89 to set him up to wrestle Hogan in 90, then I guess you do got to throw. I don't know if it's fucking Andre, but you got to throw a big guy in there. Otherwise, Hogan's going to be this massive guy, and Beefcake's been building all the little guys, which fucking none of those guys were little, but they're not Hogan. I still think Honky Tonk Macho Man perfect. Maybe you don't involve Rick Rude and you put Andre in there, and Rick Rude and Warrior on that subset fighting, without the Intercontinental title, but still feuding to set up a feud down the road for the belt. But right now, no. Because if you're taking Warrior's belt, you're taking Rude's belt away too, giving this damn thing to Beefcake. And I don't think many people would make that trade. I'm just acknowledging that maybe we have one of these guys beat Beefcake in 89, so this way Beefcake would regain the title, just like the Warrior did. It happened for Beefcake. Why not perfect win in 1989, and then you have you can have Rude. You can have Rude do it.
Okay, I'm just saying.
Everything that Rude did with we're basically just eliminating the Warrior, and we're giving Beefcake Warrior's run is what we're doing.
Well, again, it's hyperboles here, but it writes itself, Reflectionites. I'm just saying, but it's stacked. That roster is stacked for Beefcake to build his legacy, build his rep. So either Rude takes it from him, or Macho Man gets the Intercontinental title back. It'd be the first time in a couple of years that Macho King gets a belt around his waist since the heavyweight title. That would have been a great kind of program with that too, because then with that Hogan, Beefcake, Macho Man, and Zeus thing, I think we eliminate Rude getting the IC title, Macho Man gets it because then you build that heat for SummerSlam, Survivor Series, no holds barred, and all that stuff. It works itself right there. That's just my humble opinion. Agree, disagree, and then we'll move on. What's the ATW?
No, I agree. It's because that's the only way you can put the IC title back on Macho Man and not have it be a backwards thing. He took Hogan's buddy's belt, so that works actually better. He gets it again. That'd be his second IC title reign, right? Because he didn't win it back. He lost it to Steamboat, never won it back. Yeah. Right. So yeah, I think that's good.
Okay, so we kind of fixed it up, Reflectionites. We changed history. Certain people had to get to the wayside. Ultimate Warrior, which makes TW a little bit irky jerky right now, and Rick Rude, which makes him irky jerky because again, we're trying to fix it.
Two of the best IC champs ever.
No, the best IC champion is always will be Kofi Kingston. But anyway, neither here nor there.
I say Gunther.
Well, he has the run right now. He had a run. I'm just saying.
Yeah, well, then you might say Honky Tonk's number 2. Fuck that. He's horrible.
Hey, like you said, numbers count. Numbers matter. But anyway, let's move on to scenario number 2. Now, this will be easier for you, TW, and I think it'll be easier for me too because again, he was supposed to win it in SummerSlam 1990. So we could, for your sake, TW, Ultimate Warrior is okay. He's doing all his things. So let's get that out the way, all right? Ultimate Warrior is set for life. So now Beefcake is still in the upper mid card to upper mid card and all that stuff. He already had his program with, teaming up with Hogan and all that stuff. So he's a made man in 1990. So TW, again, WrestleMania 6, he was, I think, the first man to end the perfect streak, if you will. So, and they built it at.
He was Perfect's first loss.
Yeah.
Wow.
And then Perfect won the Intercontinental Tournament after Warrior, unified the titles and all that shit. So, who was the ultimate, number 1 contender? It was gonna be Beefcake.
Right.
So here's the scenario because again, I don't want to fuck up Perfect's first reign like that. That'd be too quick. That's like hot potatoing, in my humble opinion.
Right.
So to me, it writes itself again because just like we did in 1988 for Beefcake to go to thwart the Hart family, it's easier for Beefcake to thwart to go over the mountain of Haku, Barbarian, Rick Rude to get to Perfect, to get to Bobby Heenan and all that stuff. So I would actually kind of like do what he comes close at SummerSlam 1990, but he comes up short, and Mr. Perfect still win. Beefcake can win by disqualification. All that herky jerky clusterfuck shit. I'll go with that.
Dusty Schmoz finish.
The Dusty Schmoz, but then because you got the Heenan family and you got a plethora of people to go. Remember the Big Boss Man run where he had to go over all the Heenan family members to finally get to Perfect at WrestleMania 7, and then he came up short. Well, Well, I'm giving you that scenario.
They're both dead. 3. Heenan too.
Yes, unfortunate, but Boss Man got that kind of run. He went over the mountain of all Heenan family members to finally get the chance again. So that's the way it works for me. He comes short, and then Heenan says, "Rude, go after him. Haku, go after him. Barbarian, go after him," and all that stuff. What's the
Power and Glory?
That's Dr. Style Slick.
Oh, I thought that was Heenan.
No. Well, you could do Heenan and Slick can make an agreement and all that stuff. So it works itself. I say you build it from SummerSlam 90 to WrestleMania 7 where Beefcake wins the IC title finally after he finishes the story after going over so many hurdles, and that's the Heenan family because I think it writes itself. What's the ATW? Do you have a different scenario for it?
No, I like it. We're ruining Kerry Von Erich. He's got time. He's not dead yet. He's got till 93. But I think I don't know why Kerry lost it so soon after. There was something that happened. I can't remember what it was, but you said it to me a couple weeks ago. But yeah,
Coke steroids.
I think if Perfect lost to him for his first loss, that Perfect has to beat him at SummerSlam, right? But
I can go with that.
It can be because Haku hooked his leg, or it can be because somebody hooked his leg.
Bobby Heenan is the perfect manager to do what you're just saying too. He could hook his leg and fuck it up.
See, that's how sick I am. I forgot to show him. Cool. But I got a disciple figure too. I don't know where it's at. But Perfect has to win because he has to get it back. And people don't remember how you win. They just remember that you won or lost, right? So Perfect would get his back. Then inevitably, you build up to him losing it to Beefcake. Because you also don't want him to beat Beefcake. I mean, Beefcake to beat him for it and then him win it back like he did against Kerry Von Erich. But you do want to do that. You want Perfect to lose it to him and then win it back and then the rest of the world and then lose it to Kerry Von Erich later. But yeah, it would, and I like that scenario because in that scenario, Haku is not, he's a beast, but Beefcake's bigger than him, right? So they could have a fucking scrapper match that makes Beefcake, everyone go, whoa, this dude can hold his own and just win clean over Haku. And then the Barbarian, who's fucking bigger than both of those dudes, can just beat the fuck out of him, like I said, Neidhart should, and he should win with a roll-up or something like that. And then who's the third guy? Andre?
Well, no, it would probably have been Rude.
Oh, yeah, Rude. And then again, I would love this scenario. Rude beats him, and everyone's like, oh, fuck. You know what I mean? But the opposite. Rude is cheating or whatever, but Beefcake's overcoming it, and Rude rolls him up and pulls the tights and beats him, and then everyone's like, "Oh,
yeah,
what the fuck
extending the story of the chase, extending the story of his hurdles against the Heenan family, because then you're a made man by going against the Heenan family, because the Heenan family is the #1 heel group, Reflectionites in WWE. So once you have a program with them, you're selling out Madison Square Garden. Oh, well, you're not selling out Madison Square Garden, but you're one of the top draws, and top programs at Madison Square Garden.
And the way you get it back is now he has to fight Rude again instead of starting all over. But if he loses, he has to leave the WWE. So either beat Rude and you get your shot at Perfect, but if you lose again, you're out. And that way there's something on the line for both of them. And you do that tribal fucking rules shit where the Barbarian run in, Haku runs in, someone else runs in, and somehow fucking Hogan or somebody helps Beefcake and Beefcake wins. Not quite that way WrestleMania win, but you know what I mean. Like you it's the big blow off. So you got everybody that was involved, people that also don't like Rude and Haku and Barbarian. Were they a team, Haku and Barbarian? So you had the Hart Foundation help him, and it harkens back to when he was teaming with them against Heenan or Jimmy's fucking people. But
we're rewriting. We're actually combining history that we're rewriting anyway for what if purposes. So you agree with me that he chases it until WrestleMania 7. So that would be the perfect time for him to finish the story, Reflectionites. Right. So that you agree with that. Yep. There's no other way to do it. Because I think because of the chase, and let's just say the hurdle.
7's 91.
I'm sorry?
7's 91. Yeah, he's a little long in the tooth by then. That'd be it. It'd be all or nothing by 91.
Well, remember, there's no accident. There's no parasailing. He's still wrestling.
I did feel horrible when he had that accident, and I can't remember if it was Bulldog. It was either the British Bulldog or another wrestler. You know what happened, right? Some girl, her knees, like she said, and he looked, and like her parasail was coming down, and she just like turtled, and her knees hit him right in the fucking face and broke every bone in his skull. And they said, I think it was Bulldog, had to put his hand in Beefcake's mouth and lift the roof of his mouth up so he could breathe. Because the whole skull collapsed, there was nothing holding his mouth open. Bulldog held it open until they fucking got to him and put like a cervix thing in there to keep his mouth open. So, and he was choking on blood from that. But that, can you imagine if, like, you heard the story about DiBiase and his dad and Harley Race, right?
What, the old territory stories?
No. How DiBiase's dad, they always say he died in the ring, but he didn't. He died in the locker room. He was in the locker room and had a heart attack, and it made him start throwing up. And I guess he had spaghetti for dinner. So everybody in the room, DiBiase's dad is puking up spaghetti, and fucking Harley Race scooped the shit out of his mouth and fucking tried saving his life, giving him mouth to mouth while he's throwing up spaghetti. That's a fucking man, dude. That Bulldog holding fucking Beefcake's roof of his mouth up, saving his fucking life. First of all, to even know to do it. You know what I mean? Like, you could probably see his head is just melting and he's choking or whatever. And to know to do that like you would, I gotta look into it, because I'm pretty sure it was Bulldog, but it's weird that Bulldog and Beefcake would be on the beach together and when that happened, right? But then again, it's just been a show and they all went to the beach that day.
For all the listings of the death gatekeeping that you do, now you're remembering stories of trying to save people's lives. So it is
Dude,
what it is.
Those are the two stories that I think about. Oh, it gives me goosebumps, man. Like just to know, like, I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I've been places like my job. I go to places where people are fucking old, and it crosses my mind. Man, I hope nothing happened to these people out here because I'm not the guy to save them. I don't know, but I hear you don't have to do mouth to mouth anymore. You just fucking do the pump on the chest or whatever. But I would hate if I couldn't save someone's life.
You learn from Baywatch. Just remember everything from Baywatch, and you can do it.
I know for me, you fucking goose them. If that doesn't fucking make them kick out, nothing will. You gotta get double goose.
This ain't the CPR podcast. This is the PWR podcast. But now
we're talking about fucking dead wrestlers that people try to save their lives.
You're talking about. Yes, you're talking about.
Beefcake's life was spared because someone knew to lift the roof of his mouth so he could breathe.
Here's the quandary again, because again, I have to always notice these things. You and I agree, WrestleMania 7, he finishes the story. So here's where the hyperbole problems happen. We actually mess up somebody's progression himself. Does Bret Hart, who won the belt at SummerSlam 1991, where does he fit into this program? Where does maybe the Mountie fit into this program? Where does the big boss man fit into this program if Brutus Beefcake finishes his story against Mr. Perfect in 1991? And remember, Mr. Perfect's back is kind of like catching up with him and all that stuff. So you don't know how long you got with a program with Mr. Perfect in the
I think one of two things.
Circuit.
I think Perfect eventually wins it back from him like he did Kerry Von Erich.
No, I would disagree because, again, he's Hogan's buddy, and Hogan would politic for him to at least have.
Well, then Bret's not winning it either. Then, but that's
what I'm just saying.
Would it be? What a legacy would it be? Because this would be before this. But what if he wins it at WrestleMania, SummerSlam 6 months later? He defends it against rematch against Perfect. He fights other guys. He gets there, and it's the scientific good guy versus good guy. Bret Hart versus Beefcake. And Bret Hart beats Beefcake clean, but like wrestling, like a roll up, an inside cradle, something. And then still has that same match with Roddy Piper, where he wins that way. I mean, Beefcake and Bret have history because no, they don't. They were both the heels that Bulldogs worked.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Bulldogs were their paper champion.
Certain people's careers might not get that trajectory because now you got a Beefcake run, and then for 1991 purposes.
I don't think Beefcake has legs, man. I think he's long in the tooth by then. I think Bret still gets it. I wouldn't mind Bret.
But we're trying. But I think it's in 80. Like we did 88 to 90 because it was easy because we took the Warriors ring. I think 91 would be a little bit difficult because again, we know that Bret Hart is, they're trying to push Bret Hart into the singles role and all that stuff. We know that the match you're talking about with WrestleMania 8 between Bret Hart and Roddy Piper. We know that SummerSlam 92, Bret Hart and Bulldog in Wembley Stadium in front of 80,000 people never happens.
All time.
Right. But again, if you have Beefcake never has the parasailing accident, TW, we have to be realistic. He has got to fit into this mold because now you're the Intercontinental Champion. You're a mid-card / main eventer yourself. So now let's say TW, because again, 91 to 92, Beefcake has got to have a run, or maybe he's going to be a 2-time champion himself. He's got to fight the Mountie. He's got to fight maybe Bret Hart at scientific role. Maybe he's got to fight British Bulldog. Does Beefcake become a heel champion, trying to hold on to that belt in any which way?
I know who beats him for the belt.
Who beats him?
The guy he couldn't beat for it in the first place. Honky Tonk Man rises up, takes the belt from him.
Wow, you go apropos like that?
Much like Owen was the first obvious challenger for Bret's title because he beat him, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I beat you. You got to defend against me. Rude was the first challenger for Warrior because I beat you for the IC. Now I'm going to beat you for the world. Honky Tonk Man, you couldn't beat me. Now you defend that belt against me, and Honky Tonk Man wins it. And he can't get counted out to win.
Okay, where would that scenario? Where would that event take place for you to?
So he wins it at WrestleMania, at SummerSlam.
SummerSlam 91. You want Honky Tonk Man to win it? Like that?
He doesn't have to have a long run.
Okay.
Remember,
I'm not saying
they had the belt longer back then. Bad guys had long runs. Good guys were fucking. Ask Ricky Steamboat. Good guys had a cup of coffee with that belt.
No, that's not true because Ricky Steamboat would have had a long run but he wanted time off. So it was a herky jerky.
He also wanted more money because, and also let's not forget that he got himself in hot water because he out fucking shined Hogan Andre because he went out there and had the fucking match of the fucking best match ever.
Just remember, it's not about, there's certain things behind the scenes that make it a shorter run. But again, like I said, you got a insurance policy with Hulk Hogan being your buddy, no matter what. So that's why I'm saying it's not going to be a herky jerky run first. I think I understand the Honky Tonk Man thing. I'm good with you with that. Maybe
how about this? You just said it 2 times. Have Honky Tonk Man beat him, and then have him win it right back at fucking SummerSlam. I mean, Survivor Series. And then Honky Tonk Man fades away, and now Brett beats him for it at WrestleMania, whatever the fuck. Because that's a lot of times what happens. This guy's fucking finishing the dream at WrestleMania 2, and next year someone's finishing their dream against that guy at WrestleMania 3.
I think the only way for let's just say the 90 part of it is that if he wins it, he's got to turn he's got to be from the barber to the bruiser again. He's got to be the powerhouse. He's got to maybe Jimmy Hart comes back into the picture as his manager or something like that.
Oh, you want to turn him heel?
Yeah, I want to turn him heel because I think you protect him and maybe you get that maybe longer heel run like you're talking about, and then you still can protect Bret Hart and get that upper echelon for Bret Hart to become the champion maybe at WrestleMania 8. What say you, TW, about that scenario?
Like having Bret chase a bad guy Beefcake. I hate when guys like, for me, I mean, it was a great heel run.
There's nothing wrong with the evil Barber.
No, but I hate when a guy wins a belt and becomes a heel in the process, right? Like Lex.
Well, you know the reason because if they're not drawing money as a face,
right?
You draw money as a heel.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm just being realistic here.
Right, but when Lex Luger was the babyface and Flair quit, then they have him wrestle Barry Windham, and everyone's like, wah, wah, and then he fucking turns heel. There's no fucking reason for it, right?
And then Barry, you couldn't say that scenario. He got jerked off too. Both of them got jerked off. That doesn't count. I don't blame Lex for that. That was the politics, and the fans were saying,
"F you." Why turn Lex bad? Have Barry Windham beat Ric Flair.
But I'm answering your question. The fans said F you to Jim Herd, not F you to Lex, or not F you to Barry Windham. Right. They didn't care. They knew it was not, the circumstances was not the wrestlers. It was fucking Jim Herd. We knew that. I'm just saying, but in this scenario for Beefcake, I'm acknowledging maybe it would behoove Vince McMahon to turn him into the evil Barber. It would behoove Vince McMahon to implement Jimmy Hart as his manager. So this way, Jimmy Hart, again, you have that Hart family stable. He's got a belt. You know, he's your number one guy in the Hart family. And it would behoove Vince McMahon to elevate Bret Hart that way to chase an evil Barber. That's the only way I think it works, in my humble opinion. Because again, I'm trying to protect the legacies. You know, I'm not trying to brush aside Bret Hart. We are brushing aside Kerry Von Erich, Reflectionites. I'm sorry. He has to pay the ultimate sacrifice for the betterment. And I think technically we're making more money because Kerry Von Erich didn't make Vince McMahon money.
Right.
I'm sorry, TW. I know you like Kerry Von Erich, but I'm just being real here.
I love Kerry Von Erich.
So do I.
He's dead.
Yes, he is. I know that too. So TW, let's put a bow in this. I kind of dominated the scenario here. So, TW, let's put a bow on it. What would be your way? I'm not going to say nothing. What's your way in 1990 for Brutus Beefcake to become the champion? Any which way you want. What would make sense to you?
So, Perfect's been champion since about May or April?
Yeah, May of 1990.
That's a quick drop of the belt, but...
That's why I didn't want him to drop it.
Right. I still think you have him drop it. And then you gauge the crowd. And if the crowd loves it, then you go on that run that we talked about where he just...
So wait. You want him to win the belt from Perfect at SummerSlam naughty?
Yep. And then gauge it and see how the fans react to him. You're going to know fairly soon. I just don't think Beefcake had it. And I don't think you could have done a lot with him. And like I said, speaking for myself, I was a big Beefcake fan until he lost to Honky Tonk Man. That's the only thing I can think of that changed me on him, because I thought, man, he can't beat the Honky Tonk Man. And it was probably to be fair to him, I fucking hated Honky Tonk Man, right? So I was like, fuck, you can't do it, someone else can. So what happens? The fucking Warrior beats him. Fuck yeah. Everyone's Warrior for life, right? So I think Beefcake beating someone like Honky Tonk Man would have made him. I think he would have had a whole different career. But once he didn't beat him, and then obviously the thing happened with the Warrior, having him beat Perfect, it was so quick for Perfect to drop that belt. But I think you would find out right away if the people believed in him or not. Because merch, ticket sales, a lot of shows in Detroit where the main event was the IC title and Hogan wasn't even here because he was in New York while they were in Detroit or whatever.
That's actually, and I didn't mean to cut you off, but that's a good scenario because, again, with let's say Beefcake being the Barber character in 1990, that's 3 years in. He's already, technically, he's 2.5 years into 3 years being the Barber. So sooner or later, you get tired of the Barber.
Right. Of the shtick.
Of the shtick.
And if you think about it, fucking guy you just put to sleep, fucking jobber, Dusty Wolf, and then you fucking cut his fucking hair and everyone laughs at it, that's a heel move. That's a bully. That's not no Brutus the bully Beefcake he could have been.
I'm just saying because that's why I said the evil Barber. That's why I said him going to Jimmy Hart. So this way you can give him some legs. That's for the Bret Hart thing. So anything else you want to say? And we're going to close it out, or you have it? Well,
I'm glad he lived. I think when they brought him back after that accident, he was wrestling with that face pad thing and all the stuff Bobby Heenan said about him. That cracked me up. But he was never the same again after that. And you feel for him, but you're glad he still got a job and he got to run. From the looks of it, he didn't save any of his fucking money because I think he's wrestling next week at the fucking VAW hall. But
he ain't wrestling. He does the autographs with his wife.
I'm joking. Oh, okay. He every now and again that motherfucker does wrestling.
Well, his wife is his manager, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
The one Hogan banged or whatever they said. Bonnie.
I have allegedly. I don't know anything about that.
Yeah,
I don't know anything about that.
I feel bad for him. I wish he'd have got a run. You know what I mean? I wish he'd have got it. I wish again, taking away titles from Warrior and Kerry is hard for me to fucking do. But they never happened because Beefcakes happened.
By the way, I applaud you for at least, being realistic and going along with the program. I know it was hard for you to push aside the Ultimate Warrior and push aside Kerry Vonnegut. Strong J to TW for at least attempting to do this what if. For the Reflectionites are clapping. No, I don't want the rain.
No,
stop with the rain. Oh, Jesus Christ. Right. But anyway, we close on this What If edition on the PWR podcast at the High Mean Media Group at podbean.com. And Reflectionites, next week, we're going to do one more recording, and then we're going to be off on a hiatus because the professor is edifying on the West Coast. I don't have to talk about that. TW knows what I mean. I don't have to be
that ass in San Fran for that prime money.
I ain't saying nothing. I'm just saying I'm edifying on the West Coast. That's all I'm saying. So next week, one more recording, and then we'll be on hiatus for maybe about a week or two. So you know what? There was another. We're gonna do a back-to-back What If, TW, because you were so engaged with this.
What if
we're gonna
came out of the closet?
And when I come out of the closet, I'm dressed. That's all it is.
Yeah,
because I have a big closet.
With a sore butthole.
That is not me. You are sick. That's what it is. You got that. You are sick.
Speaking in tongue and waking up speaking in tongue and covered in sweat.
But it dawned on the professor, and again, we're gonna change history again because I found out some pertinent information again, TW, and I gotta give you another challenge. And this one is gonna be even trickier because of the circumstances. I found out. You remember in 1991 where Bret Hart lost the title kind of strangely in a couple of weeks, not a couple of weeks, a couple of months into his reign against the Mountie at a house show?
He had a temperature. He had a fever.
That's how they booked it. But did you know that Bret Hart was almost going to jump to WCW in 1992?
No, I did not.
That's why he dropped the title, and that's why he had a high fever at 103 degrees and still was wrestling, which he did. He was healthy as a horse.
No shit.
So, with that being said, Reflectionites, we're doing a double feature. What if? What if Bret Hart jumped to WCW in 1992? How would that have worked out for Bret Hart? How would that have worked out for the Hart family? How would that have worked out for his legacy, TW? Are you ready for that challenge? Because I'm going to try to make money for Jim Herd. I'm going to try to make money for Bill Watts. I'm going to try to see if we can get some matches into Bret Hart, because I think this is going to be one of the most difficult what-if scenarios ever. Are you up for this challenge?
This is right before Flair comes here, right?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm up for it.
There you go. With that being said, TW, give out those socials so we can get out of here.
All righty. Let me open this shit up. The Pro Wrestling Coalition Network sponsors us at PWC Network at Podbean.com, as well as Hameen Media Group at Podbean.com and HMG at ChannelAttitude.com. Get us on the X at PW Reflection. Big Ray is all over social media at Big Ray Hernandez. On all of them, does the next level every Wednesday live on the YouTubes. You can get me on X and Instagram at TommyWonder19. Snapchat is NumberWonder. Facebook.com/TommyWonder. Also, another Instagram and TikTok at The Tommy Wonder. And you can find Big Vito and Noel at the Big Vito brand on TikTok. You don't stop.
And by the way, Reflectionites, TW is so happy on social media after the Trump inauguration. You should see his tweets. You should see his replies. He is going after all the liberals out there. I'm just in the cut, TW. I'm just laughing at all your replies. It's just funny to me. But anyway, neither here nor there.
I just can't believe how dumb people are, man. Like, the people just believe shit because they want to believe it, Professor. They're trained to believe it.
Remember, there's your way, there's my way, and there's the truth. But anyway,
there's an highway.
Well, I go with the De Niro way. There's your way, there's my way, there's your way, there's the right way, there's the wrong way, and there's the way I do it. So that's the way I live that moniker. But anyway, again, it's actually gold, TW, with your replies. It's theater for me. I don't need to reply. I just laugh. I'm like, damn. But anyway, we need unity in this world. It's the United States, Reflectionites. It's supposed to be united. But with TW's tribalism and then the liberals' tribalism, it doesn't go hand in hand. We need unity. See, you're sick. That's why I wanted to see if you was up and ready to go. But anyway,
I will vote for a liberal if they reform Michigan car insurance. I will vote for a liberal.
Will you vote for Whitmer if she's butt naked on a zebra?
Headed to me? Yeah, I'd fuck her.
There you go. So there's Whitmer, Governor Whitmer.
I think she's out. She can't run again.
There's always there's always an amendment to the Constitution. If Trump is wanting to get an amendment in the United States Constitution for a third term, why can't Whitmer be butt naked on the zebra saying, let's get a third term going for Detroit, for Michigan? It works. But anyway, find me on the X at PWS, that's PWS Prof. And if this gets uploaded in the next 6 months by that slow-ass motherfucker 8-Track Brown, it will be on the PWSO YouTube networks. Follow my brothers in arms, Billy Ray Valentine at Obi-Wan You Know Me, and of course, the king of the reactions, 8-Track Brown at the number 8, TRAC Brown. And again, next week, what if Bret Hart actually jumped to WCW in 1992? So with that being said, I'm the Professor. That's Mr. Wonderful, Dum Dum Do It Song, the Iron Stomach One, and the Detroit Rock City Universal Heavyweight Champion of the World, who is sick like a dog, and he's going to his bed right now when I hit the stop button. Woo! Tommy Wonder saying good night, and we'll see you next time here at the PWR Podcast at the Hameen Media Group at Podbean.com. Peace! And you finally got the fucking fireworks when I said peace. Jesus Christ.
Ooh, some sound.